everybody. Can y'all see me? Cool, we're good. All right, cool. So I just want to start off by just saying like I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to share a space with you. I want this to be a time where I'm not talking at you, but with you, So when we start this, I just want us all to do a breathing exercise real quick. So we're all just like on one accord. I'm in LA, so it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just waking up for y'all. So I just want us to, so what we're going to do is breathe in for 7. 7 is the number of completion, and then breathe out for 8. That's new beginnings. We're only going to do it twice. I would have us do it for a long time, but I'm not going to hold y'all. So y'all cool? And also this has to be interactive. Within Blackness, one of the coolest things, there's so many dope things about us, is that our Black interactions, you feel me? So it's like we have to interact with each other. Don't just be having me sit up here talking to my damn self. And I also cuss, also understanding that in Blackness, we redefine what terms mean to us. So even when it comes to good morning, I don't say good morning. I don't spread morning. Like one thing I'm going through right now is a huge ascension, and I don't want to speak morning on anyone. So it's grand rising to me. So we're all rising together. So I want us all to do our breathing exercise twice. And then we're going to get into and then I'm going to ask you a question, and then we'll get into my little presentation. Cool. We all good? We all want to court? Can I hear y'all? Can I see y'all?
Yes,
ma'am. Cool. Yay! Thank you, girl, for talking to me. Okay. All right. So we're going to breathe in for 7. Count at your own pace. Okay. So I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. Breathe out for 8. And on this last time, when you let it out, let a sigh out. Understand that when you're meditating or when you're breathing, it's not supposed to be cute. It's not supposed to be pretty. Healing is hella ugly, So when we let that shit go, we're breathing shit out. Living as a Black person. Okay, I'm going to get into it after we breathe. We need to breathe. All right, we ready? So just make sure that when you let it out, let that shit go. We're letting shit go today. All right, so let's breathe in for 7. And let that shit go. Cool. Okay. So what I was saying is, as a Black person, we have so much trauma. Like even when I was asked to speak on this, I was pulling out a lot of books that really resonate with me. And I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Joy DeGruy. Have any of y'all heard of that before? Okay, so this is an amazing life-changing book. Even if like some people are not like hella readers, and like one thing that I don't want to pressure you to have to read. I call myself an intentional reader, not an avid reader. Some people just read for fun and it's like, go get it, girl. But like me, I'm a pick up a book for intention. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't want to pick up the book for intention, there's a video on YouTube, Dr. Joy DeGruy. And she really, let me see if y'all can see. Yeah. And she really breaks down post-traumatic slave syndrome. So it's really just saying like, if you're going through a traumatic thing in your life, you can't just fucking all of a sudden be over it. You know what I'm saying? Like as Black people, we've never had any reconciliation. We've never had any true healing. So now it's generational trauma. Like we're just reacting. We think as Black people, some of our habits are habits that that are innate, but they're not innate. It's really just us speaking from generational trauma, if that makes sense. All right, cool. So I'm gonna pull up. Well, first I wanted to ask y'all a question, because when I do my presentations, I don't want to just, like I said, be talking at y'all. I want to talk with y'all. So I do want to know what you value in Blackness. So when I sat here and thought about this, my sister really helped me. Her name is Bree Baker. She has a nonprofit called Justice for Black Girls. We really broke down what value in Blackness means, like value in Blackness in beauty, value in Blackness in nature, value in Blackness in spirituality in the ancestral realm, value in Blackness in entertainment. You feel me? Just what do you value in Blackness? What makes you proud to be Black? That's really the main question. I kind of made that shit sound real complicated. What makes you proud to be Black? So anybody can talk.
Resiliency.
That's deep.
Black is beautiful.
Period.
Knowing I'm Black makes me proud to be Black. I don't know. Just getting up and just looking at my skin every day, it's just like a thing that makes me happy, regardless of what we go through as a people. Like, I just don't see myself being no other way.
I value the relationships of being Black, that community.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Like our creativity, like I feel like the creativity of a Black person is just like, it's something like, it's the world's blueprint.
Period. Period. Anybody else?
I'll read in the chat. They said the culture, the power to overcome, the individuality of each Black person, the inside jokes of being Black.
Yes. Live for those. Black Twitter really goes so hard. I'm like, what in the world? Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so can you go to the next slide? Okay, cool. So I kind of gave away my little answers, but can anyone tell me how ancestry and spirituality makes you feel? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? Do you know? Do you not know? How does it make you feel?
I feel okay with it. I started getting into it more like last year, like at the beginning, like when I like asked myself, who am I? And like I just started really like my intuition like really kicked in and start like giving me all these like different answers and clues to what to go look for, what to go look at. And that's what like really helped me with my spiritual ancestor journey. Just like being self-aware, like it helps me be more self-aware, help me know things like when I'm uncomfortable, it pushes, it's just all kinds of stuff. I don't want to take nothing from nobody else, but that's just my personal thing.
Yeah.
It's nothing evil to me. Like some people like are scared of it, but I'm not. Like I still like believe in God, but at the same time, like I know that it's other people that have been here before us that still wander this earth, regardless what you think. But that's how I feel.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I'm not gonna say I'm scared of it. It's just me. I don't understand it. So like when you have friends who are deep into their, ancestry and spirituality and talking about it, and then like nobody's really explaining it to you, they're explaining it how it moves them. For me, I feel like if somebody talked to me and helped me understand it, then I would be more comfortable with dwelling into it and diving in deep. But like right now, I'm just not necessarily in the dark, but if I don't know anything, I'm not gonna speak on nothing I don't know.
Absolutely. All right, so let me just touch on that real quick. So with us as millennials, Gen Z, what is it, Gen Z? Girl, I don't fucking know. But with that, we live in a tutorial society. You feel me? So it's like we're kind of like, bitch, what? Tell me, give me some clarity. Show me, give me a tutorial on what this is. You know what I'm saying? And with our parents, I feel like our parents more so just did what they were taught, didn't ask no questions. We're very intuitive. We like to understand the why. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate you being very honest, because what I think in this culture right now, we're in the cancel culture, we're in the woke culture. And I appreciate it because it's dope that we want to be in tune with ourselves. It's dope that we want to know our history. It's dope that it's trendy to be awoke. You know what I'm saying? That's lit. But what I don't like is taking out the humanization of teaching people. You know what I'm saying? Like ignorance is exactly that. We're ignorant because we do not know. We're ignorant because our history is so rich that it was hidden from us. So it's not our fault that we don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know because y'all bitches hid it from me. So what I appreciate is that this is the time for us to be learning and teaching each other, but humanizing each other as we teach. You know what I'm saying? Because we do not know. And we're not, so also when it comes to ancestry and spirituality, it finds you when it's supposed to, because your ancestors are with you right in this moment and they're waiting on you. They've been with you since before you were even birthed. You know what I'm saying? So like, don't rush the process, but I just do want to let you know that there are resources that walk you through it, and don't let people discourage you on your journey to finding out who you really are. Because how my spiritual counselor breaks it down to me is that we are humans just being reminded and trying to rediscover our divinity. So that's like a way to kind of break it down. So I'll break it down in this way. Sankofa is a Yoruba term, basically saying it's not taboo to go back and fetch it. So if y'all have ever seen it, it's like a bird that like turns back. So really it's basically just saying you can't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. So basically, my little quote was, the richest treasure is always hidden. When you always hear about like the treasure being buried in the fucking sand in the ground, that's literally us. So basically, it's just the power of reconnecting with your ancestors whose legacies make room for your very purpose. One book that really helped me tune in with my spirituality and ancestry, and the reason why I started off with this slide, I also talk fast, so just bear with me, we're running through this. Is because this is starting at the very beginning. You know, like knowing your ancestors and knowing your spirituality is starting in the beginning. You know, so Sacred Woman by Queen Afua really helped me. So if y'all want to take that down, I know I like to take little notes if I'm trying to come up with a resource. And one of the quotes that really resonated was, "My people are the elders of this earth. They are the originators of what is commonly known as Greek philosophy, which is the ancient Kemet Egyptian way of life." So the spelling of Africa literally means flesh, AF, and soul, Ka, of the hidden sun Ra. The more common spelling, Africa, comes from the Arabic frik, which means to separate, divide, or conquer. Really just meaning that the oppression started since the beginning. Our oppressors even understood the power of naming things and the power of, you know, if we call it Africa and we named it Africa, but if we shape the spelling, this means divide instead of it meaning sun, flesh, and soul. You know what I'm saying? So just like, imagine if we understood, and then how we embodied Africa as in separating, dividing, and conquering, how we embody colorism, how we embody, you know, feminine and masculine, how we embody just separating from classism, how Black people, you know, how we just divide within our community, you know? So imagine if we embraced Africa as in the originated spelling, you know, embodying sun, embodying flesh, embodying soul, and what that really means, you know? So let me go, you can go to the next slide. So cool. So basically the 42 ideals of Mayat. So it's also, sometimes it's hard for me because when I'm reading books connecting with myself, it's like I can't pronounce the shit and it be irritating me. And it's because, you know, I think sometimes, like, you know, with immigrants, it's like, at least you're connected to, you know, where you come from, you know? It's just like one thing as people that are just solely African-American, sometimes we're like, damn, we don't know shit about shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is sad as fuck. Like, I'm really trying to like I have blonde hair a lot. And sometimes I'll be like, I really look like the oppressor. Like, I'm wilding. And then I realize like my family is Guinea, and like Guinea Africans have blonde hair. So bitch, y'all don't own shit. We own everything. But anyway, moving on. So the 42 ideals of Mayat that I really connect with, I want some people to read them just so y'all, I read them out loud last night and it made me cry. So if anybody wants to just read them out loud, and when you read them, just connect with them and just understand that this is what your ancestors wrote out that they want us to follow. So they're the 42 ideas, they're the 42 laws, and they're also ideals. So when you Google this and look it up, you may be like, this is not what Brooklyne talked about in the PowerPoint, but there's different ideals. So I just want y'all to know that, you know, with learning and discovering, you'll find different versions of different things. But these were the 42 ideals that really resonated with me, and I think speak volumes to who we are as a people. So if anybody wants to read, I think that would be dope, because I read them last night. So I want y'all to do it.
So you want us to read the 42, right?
Yep, out loud. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's not gonna take you long. They're just one sentences.
Okay, I'll do it. I honor virtue. I benefit gratitude. I am peaceful. I respect the property.
Pause. We are valuing Blackness here, honey. We need to breathe in these words. We need to breathe.
Okay.
You need to speak life into these words. You are preaching to us right now. I need you to say
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
So try it again.
Okay, I'll go slower.
Thank you.
I honor virtue.
Period.
I benefit gratitude.
Gratitude.
I am peaceful.
Peaceful.
I respect the property of others. I affirm that all life is sacred. I give offerings that are genuine. I live in truth. I regard all altars with respect. I speak with sincerity. I consume only my fair share. I offer words of good intent. I relate in peace. I honor animals with reverence. I can be trusted. I care for the earth. I keep my own counsel. I speak positively of others. I remain in balance with my emotions. I am fruitful in my relationships. I hold purity in high esteem. I spread joy. I do the best I can. I communicate with compassion. I listen to opposing opinions. I create harmony. I invoke laughter. I am open to love in various forms. I am forgiving. I am kind. I act respectfully of others. I am accepting. I follow my inner guidance. I converse with awareness. I do good. I give blessings. I keep the waters pure. Oh, I like that. I speak with good intent. I praise the goddess and the God. I am humble. I achieve with integrity. I advance through my own abilities. I embrace the all.
Yes. How does that make y'all feel? Anybody? Does that make y'all feel anything, or that's just me?
Now, that made me feel good, girl.
Is there any one part that resonated with you? Anybody?
For me, it like some of those just seem like a governance. Like there should be no confusion. I respect the property of others. I consume only my fair share. Like I just thought about like capitalism. It was just, yeah.
Yes. And so one thing I just love within valuing my Blackness is within valuing my Blackness, I'm valuing justice. I'm valuing fairness. I'm valuing integrity. I'm valuing love. You know, like when you're valuing Blackness and understanding who you come from, whose you are, and understanding it when it comes, I'm speaking about God, goddess, I'm speaking about spirit, and I'm also speaking about your ancestors. These are the ideals that they had for us. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, oh my God, Black people are so pure. It's unfair. We are just walking this earth just like, why are we saying these beautiful things? You know, we respect the earth. We respect the animals. We respect each other. We respect money. You know, there's nothing on this earth that we don't respect. And even when it comes to now, like we could be right in this whole motherfucking place, but we're not. We just want fairness. You know what I'm saying? We don't ask for anything other than our fair share. You know, so that's one thing that we're still embodying. So I just want y'all to know like the history of where we're coming from when it comes to valuing our Blackness, because understanding your ancestors, the ancestral realm and your spirituality is really deep, but it's also not. It's just as pure. Just the purest person on the earth are your ancestors. The purest things, the good things on earth are Black people. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, so this is a little taboo. So if y'all can't tell, I'm a little out the box, you know? So when it comes to valuing Blackness and pleasure, so how does that make you feel when you think about pleasure? Anybody?
When I read that, I just thought about Black Twitter.
Okay.
like in fun, valuing Blackness in lightness.
Anybody else? How does pleasure make you feel? Okay, cool. Pleasure is a very taboo topic. So I'm going to read this and then tell you why this is important. So I'm reading this book called Pleasure Activism. And this is a life-changing book. So basically in this book, she says, making justice and liberation is the most pleasurable experiences we can have. Learning that pleasure gets lost under the weight of oppression, and it's liberatory work to reclaim it. The other thing is that it feels important that we stop shaming people for the pleasures that they are able to find in this life. Stop equating suffering with the part of how we do our justice work, which it feels like we do now. It's like you have to be suffering all the time, and that's not a good long-term survival strategy. One of the things that I really girl, I don't know, in this book, which is like an echo of Audre Lorde, is that we settle for suffering and self-negation because of oppression. Oppression makes us believe that pleasure is not something we have equal access to. One of the ways that we start doing the work of reclaiming our full selves, our whole liberated free selves, is reclaiming our access to pleasure. Your Blackness is a gift, not a burden. Pleasure rooted in your Blackness is your birthright. So that was kind of deep. So what I want to say when it comes to pleasure is when I'm speaking of pleasure, I'm literally meaning sexual pleasure. That's why this is taboo. That's why so when I'm talking about sexual pleasure, I'm saying that this is a topic that we do not talk about because as Black people, a lot of us are very, we're tied to Christianity, and I'm still Christian adjacent, but in the Bible, we're supposed to suppress our sexual pleasure, because it's tied to, marriage and all these patriarchal ideals. So what I want us to understand is that pleasure is your birthright. Everyone is over 21, right? We're good, Brett? Okay, like when it comes to women, my ministry is really women, and I love the men, and I'm here for y'all as well. I still have, this is a unisex presentation, but this next thing I'm about to say is for the women. I'm reading this book called Pussy Prayers. The reason why the book is probably so like, I saw some of y'all heads like, so the reason why the word pussy is so jarring is because of the power that it holds. And you can just tell that's the common narrative within Blackness, is that the words are just so like jarring because of the power that Blackness holds. You know what I'm saying? And the sole function of your clitoris, and this is also taboo, is for pleasure. God created your body. So understanding that pleasure is your birthright, but our ancestors have been raped. Our ancestors have been, shoved into corners, had to jump over rivers. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know what pleasure looks like. We're trying to survive. We don't have time for pleasure. You know what I'm saying? But understanding that pleasure is your birthright. That is just so important that Black people, that the fact that you were able to be present in 2021, not in 1619 when we're trying to just survive, not in the 1960s when we're trying to just survive. You're able to survive. Yes, we're still surviving. We still every day have to see another Black person slaughtered. We still have to live through police brutality, but we're still able to go to therapy. We're still able to understand what pleasure means. We're still able to have access to Google and have access to colleges. You know what I'm saying? Like understanding that all of those things are pleasure, not just sexual pleasure, but just laughing is pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Touching yourself is pleasure. Indulging in other activities with someone else is pleasure. These are all things that should not be taboo topics, and they're taboo, and then we're not comfortable in talking about them, and then we do them in unhealthy ways. You know what I'm saying? Then that's when it goes into not self-loving. That's when it goes into unhealthy sex partners, because we're not having the healthy conversations because we're so fucking scared of them. We got to stop doing that. Okay, next. I know y'all are like, oh, she's really on here talk about this stuff. Yes, I'm on here talk about this stuff because this is what we need to talk about. We can go to the next slide.
You're good, Brooke. We got time. I want to interject real quick. So Kendrick Lamar has an album called Damn, where when you're looking at Blackness, when you're looking at the history of these things, to where this oppression is something that's given to us. Like it's something that's a part of our struggle. It's a part of our lives. It's a part of the full journey. Like it's been given. It's not like something you can avoid. And so I was just asking you, and if you're familiar with Kendrick Lamar, familiar with that album, when you talk about making justice and liberation the most pleasurable experience, are we looking at the things that damn us, that we're damned have to go through? Like, it's literally the fact that we can fight those things where our pure pleasure relies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's a very eloquent way to put it. What I would say is like, I want us to get to the point of, yes, realizing that we're fighting oppression every day, and that, we're switching the things that damn us into something powerful, but also not resting in, how do I put this in the right way? Not letting that define us. Our resiliency is a part of us, but it's not all that we are. So because that's one thing that makes you always feel like you're living in trauma and not in pleasure, when you're realizing that you're always trying to fight for something that was taken from you. But when you're just living in like the fact that like pleasure is my birthright, not pleasure was stolen from me, so I'm trying to get it back. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Just because I'm saying like it's all in reshaping your mind, because we all know these things. We know that it was stolen from us, and like I'm even talking about it now. It's important to know, Sankofa, reach back and fetch it. But it's also important that when we're trying to live, when we're trying to thrive and not just survive, it's like when you're living to try to prove something to somebody, you're not really living. When you're living to try to like make yourself like one thing that I say is like, I know that I have made it when I'm so at peace and I'm so healed that I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with what I think something that we have with Black people is like, we're trying so hard to just get back. But it's like, no, we never arrived. So once we try to really like understand that we've never arrived and we're living for ourselves because that's our birthright, instead of we're trying to live for because of our oppression. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I just want to segue that art in there real quick. That's all.
Yeah. No, love that. Well, let's get real quick into nature. So how does nature make us feel as Black people?
I like nature. I just started getting into like sun gazing last year. They go outside sometimes and just sit under the sun. Like even if I have a jacket on, I try to like let my skin get as much sun as possible. I have lupus, so like I'm really not supposed to be in the sun. I've had lupus since I was 11 years old, and it affects my skin. But like I haven't had problems with it, so I just kind of like just do my own thing and still go outside and sit around. Like I do get like sometimes my skin start burning a little bit, but other than that, like I don't have like any major issues. But I do enjoy nature. I try to go out and sit on the porch as much as I can. So.
Beautiful. Does anyone else like, how do you like, to swim? Do you
I was gonna say I never correlated it as, being one with nature, but like the joy I get from being at the beach or being near the sun and being near water. I just know that that's my happy place.
I love that. So one thing, because I know I'm running out of time, one thing I just want us to all tap into, she said, I love being outside. It's so peaceful. I love being near water. I love everything about that. So one thing I want us to touch on is how we are one with nature in our Blackness. And it was from being oppressed, that was also stripped from us, going to the pool or going to the water. We didn't have access to that because of classism. Or if we did go to our community pools, they sent dogs on us or they kicked us out. You know what I'm saying? Or we weren't able to be exposed to nature because of our oppression. Or even when dates back to slavery, like our ancestors literally told me that they were scared of the sun. They hated the sun because when the sun came up, that means that they have to work. They hated the grass, like they hated the cotton, like they hated these things because it was hard labor on them. But way before time, when we were in Africa, we were one with nature, like that's who we were. So one thing that I feel like with us going out into nature is us reclaiming who we once were. It's paying homage to our ancestors because we were once in tune with it. We were oppressed from it and divided from nature, made to the point where we even began to hate nature. And now it's time for us to reclaim nature and understand that we are one. We are one with the trees. We are one with water. Our history is in the water. Your water, when you have water, it's so much history in the water. Your ancestors are in the water. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we feel so connected and so close to water, because our ancestors are there. It's so much beautiful history and unfortunate history there as well. So one thing I just want us to really tap into is understanding that we are one with nature. And with you stepping outside, you looking at the sun, you standing near the water, you planting your feet in the grass, which charges your body when you walk outside barefooted, understanding what that does to you. And you're also paying homage to God, who created the nature, who created the trees, the grass and the leaves, and also to yourself and your ancestors, reconnecting with that. And we're doing ourselves a disservice by not being outside. How we used to not like, getting melanated outside and getting a tan, like all of that shit is like ridiculous. And that's not what God and our ancestors had for us. So we created yoga, we created meditation practices, we created all of these things that have now been colonized. And so it's just time for us to reclaim those things. So this is a link, and it's also an organization called Outdoor Afro. There are also some cool organizations because I like to give y'all resources, and they really dive deep into the barriers between Black people and nature and reclaiming those things. So we can go next. Okay, so this one will be quick, and then the last one will be quick. How do y'all feel about our value of Blackness and beauty?
It's so amazing. The amount of versatility that we as Black people possess is so crazy. Like, I can switch my hair so much that no one who's Black and sees it still loves it. But if somebody who isn't Black doesn't understand it, they're like, oh my gosh, like, is that your hair? Like, can I touch it? They're in amazement. But somebody else who's Black is like, girl, I love it. Let me see, turn around, flip the braid, like, look at the parts. Like, we're just so fascinated with the simple beauties of it, even down to skin. Like, oh my gosh, like, even if you have like bad acne, Black person, oh girl, I know somebody who can clear that right up for you if you want to, do that. Like, it's so much like appreciation for the way you look, and like your mindset really controls your beauty on top of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I love my natural hair. I love just natural hair in general. Like Doing my hair for me, like my hair is my life. Like when I do my hair, like my wash days, that's like my relaxing days. That's like my day to myself. So like me and my hair, we are one.
That's beautiful. Anybody else? And real quick, I saw on the chat, I'm trying to tap into that as well. I saw somebody said that they were a little nervous about sage and Palo Santo and all those things. So as somebody said, like, don't rush it, but also understanding that sometimes we put so much depth on things that are not that deep. As in, you know, with Christianity or with some of the, not even Christianity, I don't want to make it religious, but some of our teachings, especially as Black people, it's like us adapting other practices is like betrayal to something else. You can adapt something else without hating something else, you know, or being scared of something else, you know, like, so with sage and with Palo Santo, it's literally just putting the air out, putting negativity out. That's literally all that you're doing. You just open up your windows and you light up the sage. I have so much Palo Santo and sage over here, and you just open up the windows and it's just letting out bad energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is not anything, that's not negating God, you know, like that's not negating anything. It's just you releasing the bad energies from the day or releasing anything bad. You know, when you walk into a new home that most of the time is not even new, that was somebody's energy, that's somebody's trauma, that's somebody's, you know, you just, when you get new clothes, some people wash the clothes, you know what I'm saying? When you're stepping into a new space, you're stepping into something new. So you want to sage that thing down so you're able to feel fresh and new and have new energy. You know what I'm saying? So don't look at it as portraying God, because it's really just has nothing to do with anything bad. It's literally just saging something down to take out the negativity.
Even outside of that spirituality, I don't mean to interrupt, like even if you search sage from a scientific perspective, it's like it kills bacteria. You know, like even if you don't want to tap into that spiritual and you're scared of talking about energies, you can even just think of the health benefits and just research that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So I just wanted to touch on that because I want to make sure in the chat, y'all know I see you and I'm talking to y'all too. But okay, yeah. So with y'all beauty, I love all of that. I just wanted to read one of these quotes. I'll read the Nina Simone one because it's a little shorter. So y'all can read these in y'all spare time. To me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole wide world, Black people. And I do mean that in every sense. And I also don't want us to just, of course, we know about the Kardashians. Of course, we know about all the people that adapt our beauty features. But I don't want us to spend so much time on focusing on things that are stolen, like I said, but just embracing the true beauty and understanding that when you do look in the mirror and you are questioning yourself, you're not the one to blame. These are systems that have been put in place for you to not feel beautiful. These are systems that were put in place to make you feel like you were ugly, that you have been taught over and over and over again for years. So that takes the same amount of years to rewire those thinkings, you know? So sometimes I think as Black people, or just as elite people, as we are being Black, sometimes we're like, I shouldn't feel this way about myself, or you get down on yourself for feeling bad. But understand that this is systematic oppression. These are systems that taught you to feel this way for hundreds of years. And now we're just trying to reshape this narrative. You know what I'm saying? So I just want you to have grace with yourself when it comes to beauty. We know how beautiful we are. Clearly, everybody fucking stole that shit. So it's really just for you to look in the mirror, tap in, give yourselves positive affirmations, tell yourself that you're beautiful until you really believe it and see your true divinity and see what God created you to be. So that's all I want to say about beauty. And then the last slide, it's really about the value of Blackness in entertainment and storytelling. So one thing, I am a writer. Currently, actually, I'm working on an HBO Max show that y'all will see soon with Issa Rae. And basically, within entertainment and storytelling, one thing I wanted us to know is the history of that within valuing our Blackness. So understanding that the repetition of language and rhythm are two important characteristics of oral storytelling. Storytellers repeat words, phrases, stanzas. The use of repetition makes it easy for us to understand and recall from memory. Storytelling provides entertainment, develops the imagination, and teaches important lessons, probably, about everyday life. So just understanding that storytelling is our birthright, understanding that is how we started. That is how we started in the history of of everything was oral communication, oral storytelling. So when it's like, bitch, guess what? A girl, guess what happened? That's what your ancestors did, just a little more eloquent. But that's exactly what they did, So just understanding that you're embodying your ancestors when you drop in that tea about your life. Don't drop tea about other people's life. That's not your business. But when you drop in tea about your own life, it's like you are channeling your ancestors within your storytelling and understanding that you are a vehicle of storytelling. Storytelling creates empathy in the world. It creates humanization in this world. Storytelling is needed so we're able to feel other people in their own struggles and be able to resonate with those things. Also understanding, like someone said, the Black creativity and the outer worldly experience of that, the creativity that God gives us that makes the blueprint for this world, So of course we know all the entertainment greats, we know all the storytelling greats. So just making sure that you understand that you are not just associated with greatness, but you are greatness, and valuing your Blackness. When you don't value your Blackness, you're not valuing yourself. When you don't value your divinity, you're not valuing yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot know about some aspects of your Blackness. We're always learning, we're always discovering, but just understand at the core that Blackness isn't everything. We are in every industry. We created everything in this world, math, all the shit that matters, we created, you know what I'm saying? So no one can steal from you because it was created within you. So how do y'all feel? Is there any takeaways? Are there any resources that y'all want? Anything that y'all want from me before I head out?
I did have a question. So this could be me doing exactly what you said we be doing and thinking too far into depth about things that ain't.
Yeah.
But you mentioned being one with nature, and I know on a biblical aspect, they always talked about how they follow astrology, they follow nature, to get where they were trying to go, whether it was physically or mentally or emotionally. And so I just want to bring up the fact that when you said that, I thought about that instantly. And I feel that that's one thing that a lot of people lose, when they think about spirituality. And yes, a lot of stuff in the Bible people don't follow, but that's something that connects with ancestry.
Yes.
And so you just kind of brought that to my attention.
Yes, honey, I love that connection. I love that. Speaking too deep. Go ahead.
I don't want to butt in, but I was gonna say that's astrology is actually what kind of got me on my journey, because that's what made me jump in when I had spoke earlier, and I was like, who am I? What is, because we always talk about our zodiac signs. So I'm like, what does that have to do with anything that has something to do with me? So when I got in depth with all the information, it was okay, I see what's going on now. So I was like, well, this kind of is tied into spirituality. And I was like, because in the Bible, they followed the stars to get to Jesus. I was like, man, they just don't teach us this stuff. So yeah, I appreciate today's conversation. I really enjoyed both of them, but this one right here really struck home more for me, because I'm like, dang, this is something that I'm into. Let me see what she's talking about. But yeah, to piggyback what Kiana said, yeah, astrology and all of that, yeah, it's all tied into one. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions that y'all have real quick before I get out of here? If there are any resources or anything that y'all need from me, I don't want y'all to not feel nourished.
Can you either, verbally or type in the chat some books that people can start with?
So it depends on what topic you felt led to. So this is a good starter, post-traumatic slave syndrome. So you really just understand the trauma that we've taken on. And it's also so many things that she unpacks that you don't even realize affected you. So Dr. Joy DeGruy, she's amazing. So I really suggest her. This is for women, especially The Sacred Woman by Queen Afua. I really suggest that if you're ready to talk about your ancestry and spirituality. No pressure. Understand that that's going to come to you when you're ready. Of course, hitting us with The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. That's important, if you're trying to understand your history. Pleasure activism, if y'all want to tap into that being your birthright, understanding that this is something that God created for you to enjoy. That's why it's called pleasure, for enjoyment. Black Woman for Cultural Readers. Also Eloquent Rage by Brittany Cooper. I'm looking at my little book list over here, and it also depends on what you're interested in, because I'm also interested in Black women in film and Black in film, because I am a storyteller. So I have hella resources for that if that's something that you're interested in. But yeah, so those were a few resources that I have just off top. But if you DM me or email me or whatever, I can give you some more catered to exactly what you want to discover.
Definitely make sure you follow, DM, comment, and look into everything that Brooklyne is doing. It's a blessing to meet you virtually.
Yes.
I've spoke of you and the gang. I'm just gonna say the gang because it's so many different ways that the connection is there, at least virtually, from a fan point. I can admit that. To the point where it's a blessing for you to come through and have that message be spoken upon. I definitely want to shout out the Good Girl movement.
Oh, thank you.
Our college students in the building. Because of Bevy, we started in South Carolina. We're South Carolina based. We're about to start moving out of state. So as far as the Good Girl movement, let's say one of our members, looks up the Good Girl movement, because the Bevy is like what y'all, like 98%, women. So either way, what we're looking at is bringing the Good Girl movement to maybe like a South Carolina State or a Clemson or a College of Charleston or a Coastal Carolina or, a Winthrop University. Is that possible for them?
I love that. Yeah. So basically, I'll just briefly explain it real quick. So the Good Girl Movement, we are a nonprofit organization, but we're also on 12 collegiate campuses. So really, it's a community of Black women that just want to do service, that want to be community to each other, and also want to serve their community at the same time. So really, that's what we mainly do. Right now, we're doing actually a feminine product drive and a drop your drawers drive, really understanding, trying to end period poverty. We started a homeless organization within the Good Girl Movement that really taps in. It's called Gifted Hands, really going out and doing the actual work, not just giving to organizations you don't know where the fuck your money is going to, but we really go out in the streets and make sure that the people are actually touched with our hands. And so we just raised $2,500 for that. So God is good. And we're still moving. We want to do some things for Texas. So we're just always moving, always growing, always just making sure that we're doing the actual real work. You can follow the Good Girl Movement when it comes to you wanting to bring it to your campus. We getting paperwork, we getting more legitimate, you feel me? So you got to email us. We send you a little blueprint on how it runs. We have a whole constitution and shit. We getting things rolling. This is our year 4. So we doing things a little different. We're doing things a little more elite. But yeah, so we're always open, but we just want to just make sure we do things in decency and in order. So much love. Thank you for bringing up the Good Girl Movement.
Absolutely. So the same way y'all brought Bevy to your campus, I definitely want to extend that because we're here to collaborate, especially as Black people. We're here to extend that notion. I definitely want to shout out the drive when you talk about period poverty. That's big. So for anybody here, check that out. You can go to her page or the Good Girl Movement page. So you can get a plug in on that. That's top priority right there for her. So she kind of took a break from making sure these things happen so she can come speak to us. And I want to thank you.
Yeah.
Applaud you and congratulate you on the strides you've taken, the change, progression, growth you've taken to get where you are. And I also let you know that not just me, Ayat, and all of our members, we're all looking forward to where you continue to go in the future. And you can't just drop like an HBO and Issa.
Oh, we gonna have a watch party.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's her show. I'm assisting on the show. Let's be clear. It's not like a show coming through in the cut. No. Assisting on her show, So I'm a part of the HBO family as an assistant. Let's be very clear. My show is coming. This is Issa's show. I'm just, glad to be a part of it in the midst.
We celebrate all of it.
Listen,
Thank you.
Your humility is what's gonna get you even higher. What we praise is where you are now. It ain't even got to do with where you going, where you are now. I'm an HBO stan. HBO stan as far as the fact that they only bring on greatness, especially when we talking about the pen game.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about right now is applauding you as an assistant, because a lot of the shows we watch, Kiana can go into all the HBO shows. But what we talking about is the fact that it takes a team to put these shows together. And we are happy that your voice, your heart, your stories, the things you've been through will be able to be told from a big screen, through the books, whatever. We waiting on your book. We waiting on everything. So.
A book is hilarious. One day, maybe. I'm not sure.
Break it down.
So, thank y'all so much. I really enjoyed sharing space with y'all. This was a beautiful way to start my morning. Yeah. So,
can I ask you a question before you go?
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for anybody who's like in the arts, like as far as, because you're talking about working like with HBO. So like as a photographer, I also had like a short film that I put out and that I'm working on now for people who know. Do you have like any advice? Because like sometimes I feel like I hit these writer blocks where I don't be knowing, but I know where I want to go with it.
Yes. Okay, so let me give you a few things real quick. I'm gonna try to make this. God, give me the words. Okay, so first, are you in college or what are you?
I'm a senior in college. I graduated in December.
Okay, so cool. So let's just be very, I just like to be very authentic when it comes to my journey. After college, I didn't get a job in my industry for a year. You know, so like when some people are saying like, yeah, I'm about to get into the real world, you still don't have to have shit figured out. Ava DuVernay, who is running shit right now, she didn't start shooting films until she was like 35, 38, you know, like old. You know, so make sure that you, one, give yourself grace and understand like in this industry, like it goes at your pace. The stories always need to be told. God is giving you the stories for when they need to be told. Also understanding that writer's block doesn't truly exist. It's really just when we're ready to tap in. You know what I'm saying? So like understanding like sometimes God is, sometimes you're not tapping in because the story is not supposed to be told in this moment. You know, like stories are told in divine moments because they're needed at that divine time. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Insecure is what literally changed and shaped my life. If that would have came out any year prior, any year after, it would have been too late. You know, so somebody may need your story when it comes out. You know, like I tried to put out one of my short films a year before and it was supposed to come at this time. You know what I'm saying? So understand that, like, be patient with yourself, show yourself grace because timing is divine. And then also understanding that, like, give yourself grace as you're writing and like ask God, like if you are tapped into God, like less of me and more of you, because one thing that I tap into with my storytelling is not just about me. It's not just about you. If it is just about you, then it doesn't matter because who are we? You know what I'm saying? So like, what do the masses need to hear? Not even the masses, but your target audience that your story is supposed to be ministering to, you know? So it's a lot. So you can really DM me because I want to really cater exactly to like, if you're trying to do short films, if you're trying to do photography, I'll like find you a good resource. I have a lot of good photographer friends, but when it comes to short films, I can help you with that. I direct, I produce, and I write. But like photography, I don't know nothing about that, but I could definitely, you know, put you on with some resources.
Big waves right there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We appreciate you with that question because again, when we talk about a bevy, we talk about just this retreat in general. We talk about networking, reviving, inspiring, informing. So I want to give another thanks to Brooklyne. Y'all give us some applause in the chat. Show us some love. Show us some love on the follow.
Much love. Thank y'all so much.
Show us some loves on the IG shares. Follow on Twitter. See whatever's going on and make sure you show some love to that. You know, throw $1 to $100 to the period poverty campaign. Drop and draw. Let me make sure I say it right. I had it up. You know how Instagram reload. Either way, make sure you hit that. Follow Good Girl Movement. Bring it to your campus. We're here for the waves. This isn't a one-stop thing. This is going to go to YouTube. We're going to share it with all the rest of our members, all of that. So we're going to keep it going. We thank you. We got one last set before they go home. Yeah. But make sure if you enjoyed this, make sure you continue that convo. And we hope you do.
Bye, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Have a great rest of your retreat. Shout out to the host for putting it on. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for inviting me. You could have chose anybody, so I appreciate it. Much love. Bye, y'all.